Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. Round 4 of the World Endurance League is right here, and it's at the Nurburgring, and we're going to be on the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10RR. Now, you've read the title of this one, and you're probably already expecting something absolutely... Oh my goodness, carnage already! Start this Grand Prix, you get a bit of a bump on the tyre there. But you are probably not expecting this one. This challenge is going to be pretty insane. Now, I came up with this idea a few days ago and I just had to try it. So without further ado, we are going to fly to the front and try and lead from there and see if we can start churning in the lap times, because if you haven't read the title and somehow not realised what we're doing yet, I'm going to try and win this Grand Prix without pitting at all. Now, of course, it makes sense. We're going to be running the hard option front and hard option rear tyres, because of course we want to try and last as long as possible. A Suraj Pand has just crashed out of this German Grand Prix. Bit of contact made there with Paul O'Connor. Paul O'Connor's also on the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10RR. He started from pole position and now he's put down to second place. Now, I'm not sure if this is even possible, I'll be honest with you. It does seem like it, because every single time I try and do the maths and I try and work it out. So basically, my maths are as follows. Okay, so we have 100% of fuel, right? 40 minutes remain, so roughly, to me, that's 25% per 10 minutes we want to be using, or using less than. So if we're down to 75% and there's still 31 minutes remaining, we're probably in for a bad time. We're going to have to try and save a bit of fuel here and there. But at the same time, if we want to try and save fuel, we're going to have to go slower. So it would make sense to me to push pretty hard right now, get to the front, lead as long as possible, and go absolutely gung-ho for it. Now, I understand that if we hold the clutch in, we could potentially hold a bit of fuel there, and by that is because we could just simply free roll. If we let go, of course the bike will just come to a gradual stop, but if we continue to hold the clutch in, we may be able to just eke out a couple more bike lengths and just continue to move the motorcycle just very gently. But as I say, going into this one, I have no idea, absolutely no idea if this is going to work or not. We could be ending round 4 of the World Endurance League in the pits, and a very sad and disconsolate DrAce, because, well, it's going to be curtains, and my win streak would end. So I'm putting a lot on the line here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting a lot on the line, and as I say, I don't even know if it's going to work. I'm going to give it everything I've got. I absolutely adore this Kawasaki. We're on a wonderful track, and I guess this is a good track to do it on, because the AI does tend to crash a lot. Because my knowledge would be from working out and seeing how the riders react, and then judging how many times we have to look at the fuel, etc. I think we're going to need a good hefty lead to then be able to just sort of relax and take it easy on the final couple of laps. We don't need any mistakes, and we want to be pushing as hard as we can and trying to save as much fuel as possible. So already within 3 minutes we've lost almost 9% of fuel. I don't even know if that's good or if it's not. You know what, maybe halfway through this we might even decide, you know what, this is not going to happen, think about the race. But I'm a little bit concerned of the tyres already. We're down to 76%, it's only been 2.5 laps. So the tyres are not going to be looking good. Once those tyres get to about 10%, things do get difficult. So we're going to have to do everything we can on board this Kawasaki. I made the custom suit myself, by the way. I did the Kawasaki logos and Pirelli, etc. and the Motul. And it looks kind of nice. It looks like it's meant to be with this bike. I'm quite happy with it. Had to do a couple of takes with the getting the colour right, because it seemed fine on my screen. Then when I went into the game itself, the colour on the suits looks awful. So I changed it over for another green. So lap 3 will be completed in a moment's time. So of course the lap times are being roughly around 2 minutes each. So we'll get roughly maybe around 19 to 20 laps, depending on how quick we go. But this one is it's a difficult one. I've been really excited about trying this, and I had no idea when to do it, so I just thought, why not? Round 4 of the World Endurance League, just try it and see what happens. Almost said World Superbike League there. That's been a while. Not seen that in a bit. So Suraj Pand, Valerie Tremblay there in 2nd and 3rd. Suraj is on the Ducati Panigale V4R. And of course, Valerie Tremblay started from 11th place, and she's also on the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10RR. So, minimise the mistakes, save as much fuel as possible, and save as much tyre as possible. Just 3 little goals, I would say, and that is a lot easier said than done, I'm sure. But I'll give it my best shot here, and we'll see how we get on. Going a little bit wide for the Dunlop curve. We're going to go, oh my goodness. I've just mentioned about not making a single mistake, and we go off into the Dunlop curve. Not a very good start, considering it has only been 5 minutes in. Now, I did restart this a couple of times because I wanted to make sure I was getting the best couple of laps possible. And it seems I always end up making a mistake here and there, so I'll just try it and see what happens. Let's not fret too much about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to halfway through just decide to give up and then just try and go into the pits, because I really don't want to end up doing the entire endurance race twice, because that would be a bit of a pain. Now, the last time I had to do an endurance race twice is because my SSD filled up with space, which I'm pleased to announce that SSD has been replaced. So it's actually now my secondary SSD, and I did end up buying a brand new SSD, which is much quicker. It writes at 7 gig and it reads at 5 gig. It's a very fast SSD, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. As we navigate the final corner, the Coca-Cola curve, going across the timing line once more. That'll be lap 4 of goodness knows how many, as our best lap time is roughly around a 1:54 and is at 1:59.692. So going into the Hooghaken, turn 1, nice and gentle. Of course, as you can see, this is a little bit different to what my usual endurance races are. I tend to be very gentle and just catch the pack up. But as a good look at in the bottom left-hand corner, Suraj is the only person roughly within about 20 seconds of us. It looks like everyone else is miles behind. I mean, the person in 12th place, God knows what's going on there. Well, they aren't doing a good job, let's be honest. Well, a little bit too close to the curb there. Definitely be careful going around these curbs. It's so easy just to clip them and then just sort of lose the front. So I can't implore you enough to be careful around those particular corners. As we... honestly, I'm so excited for this, because this is a mystery for us all. And I can't wait. I've really been looking forward to doing this video. I'm so glad to be finally sitting here and doing the voiceover and whatnot. But honestly, I don't have much more to say than just it's so tense. Because, you know, there's a challenge at stake. Usually, you know, you just get to the front, you'll start churning in the lap times, and then you'll decide, you know what, the tyres are about ready now. Or I feel like the fuel's dropped a little bit, let's jump in. Well, this time there's so much more strategy to this one, and it's strategy I'm not used to doing in Ride 4. Because it's, obviously, AI is just not really that hard. And at the same time, maths is certainly not my best subject, so it's difficult to then try and work out as a percentage how much I need to be pushing, how much fuel I need to save, and what I need to do to try and save on the fuel. The whole thing is going to be one hell of an experience. I'm really excited for this one. And to my knowledge, I haven't seen anyone else doing this on YouTube before, so I'm hoping this will be like a first. And of course, if you want to try and replicate today's performance and do one better or whatever, then you can do so and let me know in the comment section down below. So everyone's running the soft option tyres. Now that would be absolutely treacherous for us. It would be impossible for us to use soft options, because of course we need to try and let these tyres and the bike last for a good another 20 laps or so. I'm not sure how much it'll be exactly. It'll be roughly like 19 laps perhaps, or 20. Not sure. I did mention my maths is not that great, but at the same time, it's so interesting to see what's going to happen here. Using the Kawasaki Ninja, a good, comfortable, enjoyable bike to use. I thought it would make sense. Doing something that's a little bit erratic and a little bit power hungry would probably not be wise for this particular challenge. Now, I'm not sure if you can compete on any other challenges in this particular track, but I know this one was potentially possible because of the way the AI crashes. But I am a little bit concerned that Suraj has not crashed once in this Grand Prix. Looks like everyone else has had a bit of somewhat a bit of a hiccup along the way, but Suraj not so much. And ideally, I want to get a good minute gap, I would say, including his pit time. Now, if he gets a good minute gap, we can start probably just sort of freewheeling down all the downhill sections. So for one, this is a downhill section here, and then of course going after the very tight right-hander, just before the Michael Schumacher S is, again, that is another place where you can hold the clutch in and just freewheel. So we'll definitely see what's going to happen here. I'm curious to see what we're going to do. I'm nervous, I'll be honest with you. I'm very tense for this one because oh, it's going to get tight. It's going to get close. Because I think the way the game works is no matter what sort of time you're doing, no matter what fuel you put into the motorcycle beforehand or whatever, it'll always end roughly before the finish. Because I've tried to do this something similar before, and the fuel always drops by about 3rd or 4th lap remaining, or maybe even tighter than that. So you have to do it really smart here. And it's going to be so weird not going into the pits at all, because of course I like a little break in between. When you have the little pit break, I have a bit of a drink, or I'll just sit there and recompose oneself. And of course that's not going to happen here today. This is concentration times 100 for the 100% of the race. I was like, oh, I just dropped the Kawasaki! Oh, that's a terrible thing coming out of the Mercedes arena corner. But put that as your second mistake of this Grand Prix so far. Just over 10 minutes in, the fuel is down to 71%, so we are under target here, or over target. I don't know how you would even describe that. We're basically 4% over. We need to save 4% by the next sort of 25% interval, which will be at 10 minutes time. Now at 20 minutes time, we have to be over 50%. If we are less than 50%, oh, then I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do this challenge or not, ladies and gentlemen. The tyres are already under 50%, which is worrying, because, I mean, how do we keep tyres warm? How do we keep tyres cool? How do we keep tyres to an optimal temperature? How do we keep the tyres... Just how do we keep the tyres with some sort of traction and grip on it towards the latter stages of this race? Because who knows, Suraj could get a second wind, maybe jump onto the medium front and soft rear, or he jumps on some more slick softs and chases me down. Of course, Michaela, the Portuguese lady, is in 3rd place. She started 7th place on board the BMW S1000RR. Very, very gorgeous motorcycle. I think I used that the other week. It might have been World Endurance Round 1, perhaps. A really, really wonderful motorcycle, so shout out to Michaela. Not seeing many other riders in this one. We were pretty much straight to the front, not look back, and develop a massive, massive lead. So we did lose 6 seconds for that little bit of a hiccup there. Certainly my fault, of course. Did try and fight the sort of wiggle that the Kawasaki gave us, but unfortunately it was too late. Now the issue and the reason why I crashed into that corner was I tried to tuck in whilst turning, and by the time I tucked in, the bike got a little bit out of shape, and then the bike screamed no more and kicked me into the gravel. So of course we're not going to be replicating that there, but we do get our first penalty time of this game, which is a little bit frustrating, but I can't be too mad because that's the number of the late great Marco Simoncelli. So maybe that's a sign that we're going to actually tackle this challenge and do it pretty nicely. I hope so, because this has been a whole nerve-wracking experience, because it's a long time. 40 minutes is quite a long time to be sitting there and playing this game and then racing to your heart's content. Now, it wouldn't be too bad for a normal Grand Prix event, but because there's a challenge at stake, and well, I want to be the first one to do this if it hasn't been done already, that is, of course. And to my knowledge, I've never seen it done before. So I really want to try and set something special here, and I want to see if you guys can then be able to let me know what you think in the comment section down below, if you think it was just a stupid idea, or if you thought it was fun and entertaining. Because I did feel that the endurance races on this one are, in Nürburgring especially, the AI just crashes all the time, and it's just not that interesting. Before I tried this challenge, I did actually start it with the idea of not overtaking for anyone for about 20 minutes, and there was just so many crashes that I just had to keep stopping and sitting back, waiting for them to get back on the bike and then go, and it just got annoying after a while. It didn't go from this, oh, this is going to be an exciting challenge, to just, yes, this is getting tedious because I have to keep waiting, and we were so far behind at that point. Probably could have ended up winning it, but at the same time, it was just frustrating to see them all crash, because then when I did begin to close all of them down and start chasing them up, they just crashed as well. So I didn't even get that satisfying overtake for the lead or even for the podium positions. Everyone just sort of crashed and met their demise during the German Grand Prix. So 26 minutes remaining, 61% of fuel, 33% of tyre degradation on the front and 28% on the rear. Not looking too bad. I think we managed to calm it down a little bit. That crash sort of shook us up a bit, but at the same time it didn't do us too much damage. Certainly didn't do us any favours, but it didn't do us too much damage. So, not bad. A calculated mistake, I guess you could say. But in the graphic down in the bottom left hand corner, if you were to consult that now, you will see that second place is a bloody mile behind. He's roughly around 30 seconds. We seem to just pick up the speed in every other corner and gain a good couple of tenths as we go wide into the Dunlop curve again. Come on! Not again. My heart can't take that anymore. Is that going to ruin it for us? 29-second advantage to us over Suraj Pand, but that is a big mistake. I'm trying not to make the mistakes, and yet I've made 2, 3, I think I've made even 4 mistakes in this one so far. Not massive blunders, but of course, losing the front into the Mercedes arena and crashing was certainly the low light of this Grand Prix. Speaking of highlights, actually, the ride for the Monster Energy Supercross 4 highlights from the live stream are available to be watched. They came out Wednesday and Thursday respectively. Now I split them into 2 because I did the very first live stream which covered all of the highlights, and then the second highlight video just basically covered the win that we got with Zach Osborne in Anaheim 1. So if you want to check those out, be sure to check those out after this Grand Prix. Of course, they are quite long videos as well, 40 minutes and 20 minutes respectively. So if you can fit this 40-minute video in here, and then the other videos in there, then I'll be bloody well impressed, let me tell you. We are eking ever so closer now to 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed already, now's a great time to do so, because I'm going to be taking a hog hacking very, very gingerly and very, very safely. And of course, whilst you're down there, hit that like button if you do enjoy the video. It helps the channel quite a lot. And of course, getting closer to the 1,000 subscribers would really help me out, and I'm very excited to hit that milestone, so I'd be grateful if you could help me out. And I can help you out by providing more epic content, more humorous details, and just more riding and racing in general. There you go. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. As we go wide for the turn 3 there. Now into turn 4 for the Ford curve. We managed to navigate that without crashing. The AI could learn a bit from us. 3 minutes to go until we get to the halfway point. And we're on 55% of fuel. Oh, this is... Oh. Well, this is tough. I'm not sure, you know. We need to make sure we don't use 4% in 3 minutes. I think we roughly use around 6% per lap. Don't quote me on that, but that seems roughly about what we get. So, it is very, very tight. And the rear tyre is down to 20% of 20% of degradation. I can't even speak, sorry. It's going to get tougher and tougher on this one. The lap times are certainly going to be slowing down. I won't be anywhere near the 154.834, which was set many, many moons ago. That was quite a good chunk of laps before this one. As we brake very late into the left-hander of the chicane, too wide. So we're going to just go over the rumble strip, go off the runoff area, and then get back onto the bike and get moving. Of course, I didn't just run it straight over because we would be handed a fat penalty time. And at that point, rather slow down and not receive the penalty time, and not change it off Marco Simoncelli's number, because that's quite special. I'm sure that's a sign that we're going to do it here today. As we cross the timing line for the 10th time of asking. So 10 laps in 18 minutes. Expect another 10 laps, 11 laps. It could potentially be around 20 laps here. A Suraj Pand, interesting comment to make now, has pitted for the very first time. So Suraj Pand has and is... So Suraj Pand is our very first pitter of the day, and there will only be 11 riders out of the 12 pitting today, of course, because the guy in numero uno, DrAce, as Michaela has also jumped into the pit. DrAce will not be pitting, of course. That is today's challenge, and I'm sticking with it. We're halfway there. Let's just see how it goes. Just give it everything we've got and just see what happens. Also, let me know if any of you have tried a challenge like this in Ride 4, because, I mean, it would make sense to do it in sort of a 10-minute or a 20-minute Grand Prix endurance race. But doing a 40-minute on the World Endurance League, that's just asinine, isn't it? I don't know why I decided to do it here today, but I just decided. It was a spare-of-the-moment thing where I thought, you know what? Cocky me says I can beat the entire AI on this track without even pitting once. Put my money where my mouth is, and here we are doing the video for you today. We are now beneath 50% of fuel for the very first time, and there's still a minute to go to the halfway point, so we are close, but we're down. We were down by 4% earlier, and now we're only down by 2%, or over by 2%. So, is that going to be enough? We're down, I guess it's up by 3%. Yeah, we're over 3%, aren't we? That's what I'm trying to say. And Siu Wei in second place. He's on board the Yamaha YZF-R1 EM. He's got the soft option front and rear, 17% of fuel for him. He'll probably end up pitting for absolutely no apparent reason whatsoever. But he's behind us by about 42 seconds, so there's certainly no danger of him catching us up anytime soon. As lap 11 now begins, and we now start the halfway point. There's massive stuff to there. It does bug me when we get those bit of stutters on Ride 4 because they can really throw you off, especially if it's in a corner, because you're sort of going one angle and the game freezes and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to keep up, but where do I need to then flick the bike? And then finally it flicks and then you're ready to go and it's too late. Well, entering and exiting the Mercedes arena now for the 12th time I'm asking, let me say. And the tyres are now beneath 20% of degradation. As Alvin Finch jumped into the pit, he's on board the Aprilia RS4 Factory 1100. Gotta say, quick shout out to Sergio for this absolutely amazing Vimto livery for the Aprilia RS4 Factory 1100 RM that I used in the time trial challenge just on Tuesday. So if you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check it out in a bit then, because it is really good, and of course the video doesn't take that long. And if you want to compete in DrAce's time trial challenges, you can simply just watch that video, use the same bike, use the same track, and then let me know in the comments section, or even join the Discord server and let me know via social media, or even in the Discord server to let me know what your time is, so then I can include the top 3 times of the aces, the top aces, into the next video's description. So of course in that video's description it does show the past couple of riders who managed to get the podium. I think I was on last week's as well. I was rather lucky because the fastest riders in our group were somewhat occupied with MotoGP 20's Esports Challenge, which ahead of us we now have Richard Shasoldi. So I don't know what happened to him. I'm guessing he's just crashed way too many times. That's usually what happens, isn't it? So our mate Richard Shasoldi, the American, started in 5th place. He's on board the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade, and he is probably not doing that Fireblade to justice because he is back in the grid. He's about to get lapped in a moment's time from the man on Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10RR, which is of course DrAce himself. Now going into the Mercedes arena. I don't really want to get involved with the back markers. I don't really want to get involved with any of the rides on this track because I'm trying to preserve the tyres, I'm trying to preserve the energy, and I'm just trying to avoid any sort of conflict. You know, because if the worst could happen, where Richard Shasoldi could end up crashing, and if he ends up crashing, no, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean he was going to crash there, but I meant if he was going to crash into me, then I'd have a very tough time on my hands. So as it stands, of course, I haven't taken my eyes off the fuel. Every single time I look away from something, whether it's to check the other screen to see who's what position someone else is in, my eyes go straight back down to that fuel gauge. And I was like this throughout the entirety of the race, constantly looking at the fuel, constantly looking at the time remaining, and constantly looking at the gap to the people behind. So like CU Wei, he's in 2nd place, he's on 3% of fuel. He is absolutely nowhere near the actual pit lane. Is he going to run out of fuel before he even gets there? So that's a great indication. Not sure if he's on eco mode, just like we are, as there was another rider ahead of us. I didn't actually see whose name was. I was too busy looking at CU Wei, or however the hell you pronounce his name. I still have no idea. It's actually George Adams. George Adams, who started 3rd place. He's now down to 11th, so absolutely torrid time for him. He's on board the Yamaha YZF R1. Is he probably going to end up bumping the wall here? That's the first time I don't think he's done that, so good for him. He's making improvements. 16 minutes remaining and a bit. 36% of fuel. Not looking too bad. But now we need to look into the maths again. Get the calculator out or whatever you've got for mental arithmetic. And look at the time. So we have 16 minutes with 36% of fuel. My calculations are that we have to have at least over 25%, or have used less than 25%, or used less than 75%, let's say, with 10 minutes remaining. Now, I do apologise, my maths is pretty awful, so I've probably made loads of mistakes along the way, but I'm pretty confident that's how we're going to work this one out. So, sooner or later, I will start having to freewheel a little bit and try and save a bit of tyres. I can't afford to keep accelerating, so there you go, right on cue. I'm using a bit of clutch, still travelling at 60 miles an hour, so that's plenty of speed to get around that couple of corners, but not so much to continue the speed onwards from there. Now I could accelerate a little bit and then go back into the clutch again, but for the time being I did that. And just to mention as well, CU Wei is in 3rd place, and he was in 3rd place. He's now in 4th place. If you look to the graphic on your left, he is a sitting duck. So he must have, well, in fact, he's just got a bit of 2nd win there. Oh, he's still there. He's in 6th place. He's basically just died. His bike has ended, so I'm not sure if he was going for the challenge. Because if he was doing the challenge, he's done a horrific job. Because he's not even finished the Grand Prix. As we're getting ever so closer to another rider. This is George Adams. He's on board the Yamaha, as mentioned earlier. Going out to the Warsteiner curve. Using a bit of speed to get past him. I don't really want him anywhere near me. The rear tyre is down to 6%. Not looking very good. It's not a healthy tyre anymore. It's an old boy. Old boots, as they would say. As they don't flick it right for the chicane. Beautifully done for turn 10. Turn 11 coming up in a moment's time. We're definitely going to have to start taking it a little bit easier on this motorcycle. I do not want to end up running out of fuel. It would be a biggest embarrassment ever, because I would never finish the race then. And if we never finish the race, that means my win streak is going to end. Because, I mean, the win streak right now is well and truly intact. But it's also on pace to getting beaten here if I don't pull this off properly. If I make too many more mistakes, then I'm guessing it's over. If I crash again, then I'm deeply concerned, to be honest with you. But we do have 1 minute and 8 seconds ahead of Suraj Pan, so I can't see us losing that. But we will need to start dropping the acceleration a bit and holding the clutch in, just freewheeling. Hopefully we'll have enough. I'm so nervous, honestly. This is so tense and so nerve-wracking for me that I had no idea why I even bothered to do this in the end. So I'm using the clutch again, just get around these couple of corners. As you can see, the fuel is still on 30%. Going to hold as much as I can. And George Adams is going to get a little bit confused here. And I've never seen this before in this game. I'm just holding the clutch and I'm just minding my own business. Technically, I guess I'm on the racing line, but he can quite clearly get past me. So it's very interesting that he just got absolutely fascinated by me doing that, where he felt the need to do it himself. Odd. Very, very odd. That's the only thing I can describe that, as we get ready to flick it left for the Michael Schumacher S. As you can see, though, very gentle compared to what we have been. We're not thrashing it. We're very, very gentle. We're very cautious, sort of relaxed and calm. Although it may look that way, I'm certainly not relaxed or calm. My hands were shaking at this point, let me tell you. I thought I made a genuine mistake here. Then I've wasted another 40 minutes. And I say another because, of course, as I mentioned last time when I messed up the previous video, as George Adams gets ahead, he uses that speed of the Yamaha. Doesn't really matter to us now because we're over by a minute, so I don't mind losing a good 10 seconds or something to Suraj, because that would be plenty of time. As we approach the 12-minute mark, 28% of fuel still left with 12 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. It's so tight. We're going to have to be on our best behaviour these next couple of laps. We're going to have to do everything properly. It's so tense. I honestly have no idea why I even started the challenge anymore. Oh, the memories of starting this challenge and be like, will this work? Will this honestly work? We lost 20 seconds there because I started saving so much fuel. And now the gap to Suraj behind is just under a minute for the very first time in a couple of laps. As we approach the 11-minute mark. Oh, it's close. It's so nerve-wracking. I mean, most players by now are going to be looking at those tyres and think, what the hell, man? Look at those tyres. That is ridiculous. And you're absolutely right, those tyres were ridiculous. And it was so difficult to handle this bike in quite a couple of corners. Especially here. You know, that obviously that bump is treacherous as itself, and I don't want any sort of influence to the bump by making the tyres absolutely died and just trying to navigate that corner. So with 11 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, just about 11 minutes, we have 27% of fuel. And as you can see, I started putting the throttle back on, and it's down to 26% of fuel. Panic stations here, ladies and gentlemen. I might have made an absolute massive gaffe here. I'm really worried now. Absolutely massively concerned. 3% on the rear tyre, 6% on the front, 26% of fuel remaining, 25% of fuel remaining. We're 40 seconds over par here. Under par? I don't know how you describe it. You know what I'm trying to say. We need to save more fuel and get that still to be on 25% by the time this 10 minutes by the time the 10 minutes comes up, sorry. It's difficult for me to speak in this one because I'm so tense. I'm focusing on everything at once here. I'm looking at every single screen possible to keep an eye on things. And you know what? I'm getting more and more concerned here. 24% of fuel is remaining with more than 10 minutes remaining. Aye. Why did I start this? Come on, Marco Simoncelli, 58,000th of a second in that penalty corner. He's going to be telling us we can do this. On board this Kawasaki, this absolutely stunning motorcycle. If we're going to do any challenge, it's going to be on this Kawasaki as we hold the clutch in now for turn 1. We'll be doing this quite a few times now, so just get ready for this one. It's going to look very unorthodox and it's going to sound weird, but guys, just stick with me. Just stick with me. I promise we'll do alright. I'll give it everything we've got. 23% of fuel remaining. We're now under 10 minutes for the very first time. Oh, we're holding the clutch again. The rear tyres are 1% of fuel. And of course, you have to be very careful when you're holding the clutch, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you hold the clutch in and let go and it's still a high gear, you're going to just spin the bike and you're just going to end up crashing. So I had to make sure that I did hold the clutch, make sure I get the gear down to first gear, and then slowly accelerated back out from putting the clutch back on. Or releasing the clutch, should I say. So now going down this part here, it's 50 miles an hour. It's not going to be enough speed, so we're going to have to just maybe move it along a little bit. We're now less than 9 minutes remaining. It's getting tense. Are you feeling it too? Oh, I hope the win streak's not going to end. I'm so not sure anymore. 1% of the rear tyre. Have you ever seen the tyres looking that bad before? And if you actually look at the tyre itself, it might be difficult to see. Well, you can see it. It's definitely degraded. It certainly doesn't look healthy like it did do. Certainly not. 20% of fuel remaining, 8 minutes and a bit remain as well, so... Oh, there you go, rear tyre is now at 0%. So there is a possibility to go to 0, which just looks so bizarre for me. As we still bring the clutch in, going 54 miles. I'm going to have to be careful with that guy behind here, don't want him to bump me. Yep, smart move there from Richard Shasoldi. As we gently bring the bike back on. 21% of fuel. We finally got to 20% of fuel. So you can see the difference that we made and the time we lost by holding in the clutch. We've now lost about 20 seconds to Suraj. On this lap, we're probably going to lose about another 20 seconds as well. So Suraj not that far away. Richard Solly got ahead of me just to crash again. He's now going to have to chase us down once more. Now, I don't know whether using the slipstream of another bike in front of me would still use fuel as much, or if it wouldn't use as much. I'm not sure, so I didn't chance it. I'm still trying to use the clutch as much as possible and just slow the motorcycle down and just try and get that timer to expire quicker sooner than later. Suraj is on 30% of fuel, so there's probably no way he's going to pit. It's down to this. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Does the win streak end here with 7 minutes remaining? Or do we pull this absolutely ridiculous challenge out of the bag and just prevail? I would love to prevail, I really would. Because this video idea came to me in the spur of the moment, and I thought, you know what? If this works, this will be great content. This will be great stuff. It'll be really entertaining, and I'm hoping I'm entertaining you so far. I'm certainly entertaining myself. As someone has just crashed behind me. Was that Richard Shasoldi again? Utter pants, that guy is. 18% of fuel remaining, 3% of tyre life left in the front, certainly not the rear, because the rear is dead. The rear has got nothing in it. The rear is on 0%. It's screaming now, it wants to come off, it wants to go back and be disintegrated or something, or just taken somewhere and swapped out for a brand new fresh rubber tyre. But we're not interested in that right now. The front's now on 2%. Bloody hell, this is going to be ridiculous to ride. I still would like to do a challenge where we just have 0% tyres all the way through it. That could be very exciting, but I just don't know how that would go. As we're going to slow it down yet again. 6 minutes remaining here as we go into the Advent Bogan. Be very, very careful. I'm going to stick to the left here and hopefully the rider just sees me and goes around the outside of me. Move it. Richard! Oh, Richard Shasoldi. Why? He had the outside line where he was going to brake and he still bumped me. What a pillock. Absolute pillock. Oh, that's just really shook me up now. Less than 6 minutes remain. I've just gone down again for the second or third time. Let him through. I'm going to use his slipstream. I know I mentioned it earlier, but why not use a bit of slipstream? Help me get a bit further ahead. Because I'm a little bit concerned at the time here. 36 seconds. I don't know if it's going to be 36 seconds as we cross the line. And it's certainly not. It's down to 26 seconds the gap to Suraj Pand. And we are and we are taking it very, very steady here, ladies and gentlemen. Very steady indeed. 5 minutes and 10 seconds remain of this Grand Prix. We're on 15% of fuel. My maths have gone out the window now. I'm struggling here to work that out. So the way I work it out, I guess, is 25% we need on 10 minutes. So roughly 12.5% is what we would need on 5 minutes. So technically we're up by now. Oh, don't go on the curve. Is Richard Shasoldi's gone down again for like the 19th time this Grand Prix. We're carrying 50 miles an hour coming out of the Ford curve. 1% of tyre life on the front. Suraj is 25 seconds behind. I'm not sure if he's going to be that close by the time this lap is concluded. I think he might be even closer, you know, ladies and gentlemen, because that front tyre is about to reach the 0% mark in just a moment's time, as the fuel is now down to 13%. 4 minutes is coming up now. Have we still got enough fuel to just travel to the end of this Grand Prix? I really hope so. Suraj is down to 20%, so there's no chance of him pitting now. He's got plenty of... Well, unless he's in power mode, but I don't think so. He's going to be in probably eco or something just standard. Make sure I don't get bumped from another rider this time. Someone else is coming. I'm not sure who it is exactly, but let's move out of the way. I really don't want to chance that. Because he's carrying a lot of speed here. Oh, he's alright. He's nowhere near us. God me. Goodness gracious me. This is just tense. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remain. So, to my calculations, that's 2 laps. Now, from what I understand, we use 6% per lap. We could... This could be very, very close here, guys. Very close indeed. If we decide to absolutely go for it... Oh, it's less than 12% now, and the lap hasn't even started. Oh, my goodness, I'm not sure yet. As Richard Shasoldi's jumped into the pit. I think he needs to jump into the pit and retire. I think that would be a smart decision for him. Suraj is going to be crossing the timing line anytime soon now, as we chase down Siu Wei. Siu Wei can help us just use a bit of slipstream and help us get there a little bit towards the end of this Grand Prix. Carry us a little bit more if you have to, mate. I would be grateful. Suraj is definitely not pitted, just like we anticipated. Oh, so it comes down to this. 10% of fuel remaining. 0% on both front and rear tyres. We are taking it extremely gently. 18 seconds now separates us to Suraj. Oh, heck indeed. Is this going to be enough? Because we still need to save some more fuel here, guys. I'm not sure if 10% will do it, or I might be playing it too cautious. I just don't trust it. Usually when you get that notification that says you need to top up the fuel, I always find that last 10% just disappears very, very quickly. And it's now down to 9%. It's going to be 1 lap remaining. It's going to be 1 more lap because, of course, the time remaining is 2 minutes and we still haven't finished this lap yet. Suraj is 18 seconds behind. We're going to have to save a little bit more. We're going to have to go 1 more clutch here. Save what we can. And then just go for it on the last lap. We shouldn't have to save anything on the last lap. Suraj is down to 10% of... There's a small chance he could pit, but I very much doubt it. He's probably going to go for the win here. He's 18 seconds behind. I'm still going to be going very, very slowly. 8% of fuel remaining now. This is getting ridiculously tense now. 9% of fuel for Suraj. I find that hilarious how he's got similar fuel to us. And he has been absolutely thrashing it, trying to keep up with us. As we've been steadily just plodding along, holding in the clutch and just gliding in a couple of the corners. So here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The final lap. We have 7% of fuel remaining here, guys. 7%. Is this enough to finish? Suraj has gone in the pits. Suraj has gone into the pits, ladies and gentlemen. Suraj has gone into the pits. The Indian has decided to pit early. Depending how close Michaela is, I don't think she's anywhere near us. I think we've done this. We can save a whopping amount of time here. We have to just take it really, really steady. That might have just saved our bacon here. That might have just saved us. I'm just going to save as much fuel as possible now. It's down to 6%. The race is over in 30 seconds, roughly. Oh my goodness. Can we survive? Surely we'll just have to try and clutch it all the way through. 32 seconds separates us and Michaela. Thankfully, Suraj just saved us there. If he didn't pit, then you know what? I don't think we would have done it. But I'm not speaking to... Oh, I don't know yet. I'm probably speaking a little bit prematurely there, but I don't think we can do it if he didn't pit, is what I'm trying to say. I'm holding the clutch in as much as possible here. Please don't tell me the fuel still drops when they hold the clutch in. I'm so tense. 26 seconds separates Michaela and us. I don't think it is that anymore. It's probably dropping dramatically. And she just crashed, actually. Just looked in the graphic there, and she just crashed. So we can do some more clutch if we need to. We have had luck on our side on this one. I'm going to say it's down to Marco Simoncelli's number on the right-hand side of the screen there. Wishing us luck and egging us on, if you will. 5% of fuel remaining. I'm confident on this one, guys. I'm very confident. I think we can do this. Do we need to clutch just a little bit more, play it safe? I don't know. No, I'm going to go for it. I don't think we need it. Give it everything we've got now, guys. 4% just to get us to the end of this Grand Prix. Please tell me we can do this. I do not want to do this ever again. This has been a terrible idea. It's been so stressful. I'm going to mess up the final corner, or one of the final corners. We don't get any extra penalty time. We've still got plenty of fuel remaining. I think we've done it, guys. I think we've done it. Unbelievable. We've done it, guys. We've done it. We have completed an endurance race without pitting. I can't believe it. Massive wheelie is deserved right now. Absolutely huge, wicked achievement. Guys, we did it. Oh my god, we did it. You can't see it right now, but I'm fist bumping. Oh, I'm pleased with that one. Oh, oddly now it says soft tyres. We don't have the soft tyres, we have hards. But guys, thank you very much for watching as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And I will see you next time. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.